Hi there. Without overthinking this too much, I just want to give a brief overview of Grease Pencil and Blender and why it's so good. These graphics that you see here are from a showreel of stuff mostly made, probably 99.9% made in Blender, and some of the compositing was done elsewhere. But Blender is the one, and it's extremely powerful. It's free, it's open source, and there's a very good community around it. People who are happy to help you and give you feedback and develop tools, especially if you need, or figure out ways of doing it. It's extremely customizable. So no matter what you're trying to achieve, there's generally ways of achieving it. The developer community have a lot of free add-ons and relatively cheap paid add-ons as well. So you can you can kind of achieve whatever you want. But Grease Pencil is my main thing that I use it for, which is the 2D system in Blender. It's great because everything appears in 3D space, so it's very easy to integrate video footage and 3D objects as well as your 2D objects, and also make your 2D objects interact in the 3D space, which is good for working out the perspective of things, parallax, and you can even do depth of field stuff. Another thing I really like about Blender is the work pipeline, where you can easily go between modeling and creating your animations and then compositing to add effects or to put things together in a scene. So I'm going to open up the software and show you basically how it works, more or less, and maybe a couple of tips and tricks, and then might even open up some other software. What's going on here? Let's hide that. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. No, that doesn't sound good, does it? I guess it was just a one-off. Maybe they're testing the system. Anyway. So this is Blender 4.2. It's free. You can download it right now. And it is packed with lots of the things you need. And then you can always download more if you need. So I've opened a 2D scene. It has a grease pencil object with lines and fills in a timeline already. So one thing that makes Blender a little bit different to other programs is you're switching between different methods of working, or different modes rather. So when you open a new 2D scene or project, it automatically drops you into draw mode, so you can easily start drawing, basically. Just put that up a bit. So the default brush that it's got is this one here, but you can apply all manner of textures and things to your brushes. I'm using a drawing tablet, and the sensitivity of how hard I push is affecting the radius and the strength, which is your opacity. But just quickly draw something. I just turn the opacity strength thing down. So doesn't really matter what I'm doing. I'm just drawing a guy, whatever. Okay. Let's go. Okay. So each line of this that I've drawn is actually a series of vectors. And if we zoom right in, we can see them here. These, see, it's a series of dots. Just like you would with any vector program. And then it's putting the material across all your dots. the default material it's given you is just a black line, but you can replace those with textures to get things that look more like pencil lines or brushes, or that sort of thing. You can create your own, and I've also downloaded quite a few that are really good. So this is the edit mode where you can move things around as you need. There's also proportional editing, so you can do that. You can get you can move things around based on that. Oh, hang on, let's do that. So supposing I wanted this guy's nose to be a little longer or something. So there's this fall off ring, and I'm just adjusting that using my the scroll wheel on my mouse. A lot of the hotkeys and things are transferable between lots of different parts of the software. The thing that I really like, one of the things I really like about this is it works with layers. So you could, if I decided I didn't like these eyes on this layer, I could put them on another layer and then keyframe them separately in here. Also, there's modifiers, so you can apply things to them like noise if you want a simple line boil or build, so it will create your lines in the order that you made them. Let's put the noise on so you can see that in action. Boom, straight out of the box. And like most things in Blender, you can really dial it in and tweak it. You can have it so it affects the opacity or the thickness, the how many steps you want it to be moving. So even just from that rough sketch, I've already got something cooking. The fills operate as the layer behind, and there's a really killer add-on which is free, which assists with filling a lot of background or lots of fill layers, which is in here somewhere. It's called is it in here? It's called NijiGP. Maybe it's only available in draw mode. Yeah, this one, NijiGP. With this, you can also, as well as easily fill a lot of layers based on the line drawing layers. You can also import line art and have it vectorized into a grease pencil object. So, supposing I was to go into my, scans folder, I could take an image that I've drawn and then animate it using the same thing, or have it so that it's converted into the vectors so I can easily tweak them as I see fit. So let's go with this wizard guy. See if this works. Might just take a moment. Boom, look at that. My wizard guy. Let's see here. Wondering if... it's because I added the noise modifier to him that he came in looking a bit rough. But if we take a look here, we see, boom, it's made out of points. And then you can dial that in. Damn, already on 9 minutes. I'll try to keep this kind of brief, but you make your materials in here, and as I said, you can make some really quite realistic looking pencil textures and things like this. Another thing that I've been using here is drivers to control the mouth shapes. So I haven't got round to putting little images next to this armature which is controlling the mouth, but I'll I'll write out all the different mouth shapes. So when I'm animating, all I need to do is move this up and down to switch the mouths. So it's good for making rigs like that. And yeah, like I said, it's in 3D space. So yeah. Another thing was using the compositor. You can say, I think it was this one. So this is a very basic piece of 3D geometry. Doesn't get much more basic than that, to be honest. And then I've just taken photos of a PlayStation and then UV'd it on and added a couple of lights and then this animation of a PlayStation game flying into it. But if we go into the compositor, I hope this is the file I was using for this compositing. Yeah, if you take a look at this, I've added a very basic node tree with some lens distortion for some of that chromatic aberration around the edges and a bit of distortion. Yeah, and so that's feeding, it's actually feeding from an image sequence that I exported, but you could have it coming from the scene that you've made. So you can get quite an array of effects really dialed in. Yeah, if you look, it's got these around the edge here, so yeah, and it's a node-based system, so it's also the same with the way that you can create textures quite easily, and I find that's very good for cell shading. So if we've got a 3D object like this, here's my cell shaded version. So you can make things super kind of cartoony. If we look in the shading editor here, this is what the material's made out of. I've really dialed in that kind of gradient fall off kind of cell shading on there, and then multiplied it with a this line texture, which is all based on these nodes. So if I wanted to turn it down so there's none of the lines. So this can be very helpful when it comes to if you want to have some props or something in a 3D scene, or in something that looks like a 2D scene, but you want to give it a very quick cell shaded effect without having to draw it, so that the perspective's just right, or if that's the style that you kind of want. There's also a really good option with Grease Pencil of being able to put outlines on things. So yeah, like that, you can quite easily get, this line art happening, and let's just take a look from another angle. It's all adaptive based on your camera. So I hope this answers some things about what Blender and Grease Pencil are about. It's one of my favorite pieces of software. I've used a lot of animation tools in the past, and this is the one that I most enjoy. I find it has the most flexibility. You can really hone it in based on what you want to achieve. I'll just open one more file to show you some of the brushes and textures and things. I think it's in here. No, not Flight of the Bong Lords. What's it called? Jazzy guy, funky guy. So I think it's this one. So yeah, this is. So this is also another element I like. You have the sequencer, which is sort of like a, using Premiere or something. And then, but it's actually, you can actually go in and edit the scenes. It's sort of like a pre-comp, I guess. So you can't see this because it's on the other screen. Excuse me. So there's actually quite a lot going on here because I put all the props and everything in this one shot. So when they're flying out of the scene there, they're still just outside of the view of the camera. But if we isolate this, yeah, this is just the text on its own. So when it was drawn, it was just lines, and then I've applied this crazy brush to it, and put markers for all the times that the text is saying stuff that corresponds to the lyrics in the song. So that bit there's when he's just scatting, going blah 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 blah. And these are all the keyframes for the animation. Let's go back to a bit where he's actually saying something. Oh, hang on, yeah. And like I was saying, I like using modifiers. So these all have modifiers for changing the color, for making it grow and shrink, and also the line boil, which is the noise. Let's take a look at the characters quickly. Yeah, so this mouth is actually an image sequence which has been projected onto a plane. So if we isolate it, you see it's just a plane, but the texture that it's made out of is actually an animation of images. It's an image sequence here, which is basically plugged into this material, which is what the plane's made out of. And then I've created an offset so that I can cycle between the different images, and then also added all these keyframes for the object's location, rotation, and scale, because it's moving in and out of the shot like that. A lot of really good hotkeys in this program too, which make navigating it very, very easy and intuitive once you've learnt them a little bit. Starby here. I think with his jaw, his jaw is a separate object, and I just added a thing in the graph editor to basically make some noise, so his mouth isn't actually synced up, it's just moving up and down based on parameters that I've put in. I did animate the eyes though. And then for these guys here, you can see animated the jaws with keyframe animations. Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, like I said, they're all layers with textures applied to them. Ooh. And the textures are all in here. And they're adaptive, so if I decided that every time that there's a lip that's that color, I wanted to change it, I could easily do that or whatever. And yeah, I think that's kind of an alright overview. I did like a quite in-depth one about the making of this video, which includes the Wellywood sign with the W falling off. Anyway, thank you. That's a little bit about Grease Pencil and Blender. Highly recommend. It's definitely very fun, and I'm always keen to show people how to use it. Some people have even gotten jobs from me teaching them Blender. Anyway, thank you, and yeah, if you have any questions, just hit me up. Thank you.